It's my favorite evening. I'm pacing around the floor. Got southern woods and waters gonna take me out the door. Got coffee on the perkin. I'm about to have some fun. They'll have my mind chasing some critter on the run. Bring it on, southern woods and waters. Make me hear that sound of a fish that's breaking water or the bawling of some hounds. Make me smell that river mud, feel clean air on my face. Bring it on, southern woods and waters. Show me that special place.
Probably about 11 inch crappie.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Southern Woods and Waters. Hope you've all enjoyed the great weather we've had this week. It's been a little bit windy, but it's been nice for the warm-up, and it's given us some real good days out fishing on the lake. So tonight we're actually going to be talking about our lakes, and it's going to be a little bit different approach than normal. We're going to be looking at some of the management side, and I'm joined tonight in studio by my good buddy Dayton Blair's here with us tonight, but we've also got Ted Alferman to his left and Philip Parsley, and these guys are biologists with the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, and you guys are got all sorts of things going on right now. I mean, you've got habitat restoration projects. You've talked about some stake beds we're going to talk about later that y'all have done some research on recently, and just lots of interesting information tonight for y'all about just the way that our waters are managed. You know, we go out and we fish, you know, on the weekends or whenever we get a chance, and a lot of times we don't think about why all those fish are there, you know, and the ideas and management techniques behind it. So really looking forward to that. But there was a particular project that you guys did back several weeks ago with our friends over at the Bass Nation, with Jake Davis and all the kids over there. We'd love to promote them, work with them all the time, and they do a lot for our waters, but they helped you guys over at Stewarts Creek, over on Percy Priest Lake. And we've got a video we're going to run for that here in just a minute to kind of show you guys how that went. But just the gist of it was out with the old, kind of in with the new. And there's just, you got a lot of stuff going on over there to promote fishing from the bank and things like that. So it's going to be a great area over at Stewarts Creek. So let's go on over and check out this video segment and see how that day went.
You aren't filming that, are you? No, you should never do that.
Hi. Folks, we're out here today on Percy Priest Lake at Stewarts Creek. As you can see behind me, TWRA has built a bunch of fishing platforms or places for people to fish from the bank. One of the things that we noticed when we come down and collaborated with them is there was a bunch of tires in the water, and we had learned that like 50 years ago it was a great idea. Now we've learned that these things are leaching chemicals, and we're down here with the Tennessee Bass Nation, the TWRA, and some other volunteers, and we're going to remove all the tires out of this area of the lake, as many as we can, and make it a better fishing area. Later on this afternoon, we're going to drive stake beds to put the fish habitat and fish attractor stuff back in the water with environmental friendly material. Basically wood stakes. So stick around. You're going to see a lot of stuff going on today.
Ted Alferman. I'm a fisheries biologist with Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. I help manage Percy Priest, Old Hickory, and Cheatham reservoirs. We are out here at Stewarts Creek today on Percy Priest. We're with the Tennessee Bass Nation doing a lot of things today. We're doing some shoreline cleanup with some old tires and trash, and we're also installing some fish spawning boxes and putting in some stake beds for crappie habitat. One of the neat things about this area here on Percy Priest is that the Smyrna Parks and Rec Greenway Trail comes all the way to this area and wraps all the way around the cove so that the bank fishing locations are accessible to everybody real easy. People love to walk around this area, bike around this area, and certainly fish around this area. So now our 5 new fishing piers that we're having built in this area is all connected by the Greenway, and it all links together for the public to use. So you can see the tires that are behind me. These tires have been here for decades. There's tires on the opposite shoreline. There's tires all around the cove here at Stewarts Creek and in other places around the shoreline of Percy Priest. And so we're just trying to clean some of these tires up today, make it more aesthetically pleasing to the anglers, and just clean up, just getting some of the trash out of this lake to make it look better. So originally, the purpose of all these tires being here was there was a big tire reef, essentially, that went across the mouth of Stewart Creek Cove. And the purpose was twofold. It was for fish attraction, but also to prevent wave action, to reduce the wake of boats and wind action from getting in here and making it more difficult for bank anglers to fish, and also to reduce the erosion and sedimentation effects that wind can have.
We just picked out a new site to put a stake bed to attract panfish, and it's in between these two public fishing piers, so they'll have good access from both piers, and hopefully they'll be able to hook into some crappie, some bluegill, anything that uses these stake beds. Good chance for them to catch it now.
So behind us, we've got a bunch of cypress trees that the agency has been planting for decades. They're used primarily for fish habitat and erosion control. And so these trees, I'm not sure how old they are, but they're probably over 10 years old. And so the agency's planted thousands of these trees all over Percy Priest. And in the fall, they're really, really pretty because they turn that brownish red color. And fish like to get in and out of the roots that kind of stick up, which is unique to cypress trees.
Got your fresh lure there, Jake.
This is one of the phases as we pull these tires out, because we're not just paying extra for all the weight, but we're wanting to clean everything out of them and make sure we get the clams and shells out of them and put them all back in the water. So we've got a pump running down here, a couple of young men washing them up, rinsing them out, and putting everything that's alive back in the water so it survives. So if you see that's what he's doing. We're rolling them side to side and washing everything out, and then putting everything live back in the water. Crayfish, clams, we're finding all kinds of stuff. So
I'm Brady Duncan. I'm a senior at Lebanon High School, and I fish for the Mount Juliet fishing team. And this is my last year of high school fishing, and I'll be continuing on into collegiate fishing in the fall. We're doing good things today, and it's going to be fun. So we are here at Stewarts Creek boat ramp on Percy Priest Lake, and what we're looking at is some new fishing piers that were recently put in just last year by the TWRA for people to come out and fish, and it's a great thing, and they look great.
These tires were put in the lake years ago, and now they're starting to break down and release chemical into the water. So TWRA wants them pulled out of the lake. So we got a machine here. We're hooking to them and dragging them out. We're washing them off and putting them in dumpsters to take and be recycled. So we can hopefully make the water and fish habitat a lot cleaner for the environment years to come.
All these high school kids are out here doing great work, and it's a great thing to be a part of.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I didn't know until I got involved in it, you know, how much habitat work and environmental cleanup, you know, that the Tennessee Bass Nation did, and I'm really proud to be a part of it as well.
For sure.
It's a whole lot more than just fishing. You really get to be a part of something really great. So.
All right, welcome back to the studio. Guys, that's just a great project right there, and just, again, one of many projects that y'all are involved with year in and year out. And I love to see the kids getting involved with doing it. You know, I mean, they get out there, they were really out there working. You know, they were doing
important.
it. But, you know, they can take their kids one day down there at Stewarts Creek and say, hey, I remember when I was a teenager, we pulled all these old tires out of here and did all this stuff, you know. But it's great to see all these projects being on our lakes and to protect our fisheries and the future of our fisheries. That's the biggest thing. Well, guys, let's go on over and do tonight's weekly wild game forecast. It's being sponsored by our friends over at Wilson Bank and Trust. You guys can stop in and see them at one of 28 Middle Tennessee locations. They've been serving our community for over 30 years. Be sure to tell them thank you for everything they do for the community and for us right here at the show. All right, for tonight's wild game forecast, we have got a special caller here on the line. We've got Daniel Brown calling in from the Real Deal Guide Service. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Man, good. Doing good. You have been wearing them out.
Dude, I just sit down for the first time in a week, and, man, what an awesome lake we got right there on Percy Priest. I mean, God almighty. I could tell you I caught 400 pounds of fish this week, and it'd probably be low-balling.
You might be short. I think you and Chris had 100 pounds the other morning.
Yeah. Yes, sir. It's unbelievable. And, everybody listening can go catch them this weekend, man. All you need is you can use your bass rods, too. Some medium-action, heavy-action rods with some chartreuse flukes is what they wanted. They wouldn't hit an A-rig. They wouldn't hit anything. So I tied on some chartreuse flukes. And we were trolling at 1.2 mile an hour in Schoolhouse Cove. So you know where Schoolhouse Cove is. If you're coming from Four Corners and you're running under Hobson Pike Bridge, it's that big pocket on the right there. So we were, you can start trolling. The way the wind was howling today, I was having to run that up to the mouth and then turn and let the wind blow me in there. And that was the ticket. I mean, we had 8 rods down, and we had 5 of them with fish on them at one time. So it's pretty amazing. The fishing, I think it's probably the best week I've had all year. So I anticipate it being really good. The crappie are fixing to go crazy, too. My guy, William Brown, my new guy, he went out and caught a mess of crappie today, too. So they're starting to move up. I think this week and possibly next week it's going to be maybe the best week all year for crappie fishing.
I had another guy told me that earlier. Next week was going to be a pretty good week. I don't know who it was.
Yes, sir. If I had any sick time, I would call in next week and be on the lake.
That's right.
It's happening. It's happening for sure.
Well, what's the water doing now? What's the temperatures, and is it cleaned up some?
I found some 50, my boat sits a little deeper, so I get a little cooler reading than most, but I found 54-degree water in around Hobson Pike, and the water clarity is getting right. These fish can see this chartreuse fluke at about a foot. I'm having to bring it through schools of fish, but I tell you what, when you get it within a couple feet of these fish, they're going to chase it, they're going to eat it. And look, I had the live scope down today while we were trolling, and we were marking not just thousands of fish, we were marking tens of thousands of fish. They're just, I couldn't even read the bottom. There's so many. So they're stacked in there, they're doing their thing, they're eating, and man, it doesn't get any better than right now on Percy Priest.
Man, we really appreciate you calling in tonight, giving us a good report, and I always look forward to your posts and everything. And again, guys, this is Daniel Brown. You're at the Real Deal Guide Service here on Percy Priest. How can people reach you, Daniel?
Yeah, they can go to my website at therealdealguideservice.com, and we've got pro reports too, so you can get this same exact report that I'm giving now if you sign up for my pro report. So we do that. We update daily. You can sign up there on my website for the $3 a month to get access. Probably the best $3 you'll ever spend. So
it sounds like.
I'm sure to appreciate you calling. Let me call in.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, man. Have a great night.
Yeah, man. You too, buddy.
Bye.
Thanks.
Good report there from Daniel. Yep. Guys, we want to remind you to follow us on Facebook. Keep up with us there. I'll let you know how our trips are going throughout the week. And also find us at swwtv.com, and you can find all of our past episodes there. We'll be back here in just a minute with this week's Pictures of the Week and some more Southern Woods and Waters.
Live the G3 life. Visit Nashville Marine, your local G3 and Yamaha outboard dealer.
This is gonna be the good life. Gonna be the G3 life. This could really be the good life. The G3 life.
Live the G3 life. Visit Nashville Marine, your local G3 and Yamaha outboard dealer.
CVA's AccuraSeries. Bagara barrels for guaranteed accuracy. Nitride for guaranteed rust proofing. And a rifle guaranteed to be the best muzzleloader you've ever shot. CVA, it's just a better gun.
This segment's being brought to you by 3rd Regiment Game Calls. Friends, family, and faith in the outdoors. One call at a time. All right, everybody, it's time for this week's Pictures of the Week. They're being brought to you by our friends over at Flowers Garden Center and Deer Processing. They're getting everything over there ready to go, and they will be announcing their opening date, I'm sure, here real soon for you guys to get in there and get all your flowers and gardening needs and get everything tidied up around the house so you'll be ready to go fishing. All right, our first picture here, this is our buddy Bobby Gentry, and this is another beautiful Dell Hollow smallmouth that he caught this past week, and he was throwing a mustard-colored Yankum hair jig.
I bet it's a little rubber cricket or something.
Probably fishing with crickets again. You know how Bobby is, or swimming in minnows or something, you know. All right, our next picture here. You guys will recognize this guy, too. This is Mr. P.B. White, and this is a really nice fish that he caught this past week.
Nice,
very, very nice fish for P.B. Y'all know he came in just a few weeks ago, was on the show with us, talking about the frostbite tournament. Yep. So he's been out catching a few on his own now. And now this is another really nice fish. This is Marcia Nunley, and Marcia caught this fish weighed 546, this smallmouth, out of Normandy Lake about 2 weeks ago. Nice. And I tell you what, that is a beautiful fish. Congratulations on that one, Marcia. And here on the end, this is my buddy Chance Davis, and this is a nice little brim that he caught fishing out of a good old farm pond just a couple of days ago. I tell you, if you want to get the kids out and have a good time, there's not many things that beat getting them over to a good farm pond.
Cricket, night crawler, make
a little,
good time.
yeah, a little old jig too, any of the above.
That's
Congratulations on that, Chance. Y'all can send your pictures to us here, 474 James Robertson Parkway, or get them to us on Facebook or at the email right there on the screen, and we'll get them on the show here just as soon as we can. All right, welcome back to the studio. I'm joined tonight. We've got TWRA biologist in here. We've got Ted Alferman and also Philip Parsley. And we are talking a little bit now about doing this project y'all did at Stewarts Creek in particular. So just to touch a little more on that, you know, outside of what everybody saw on the video, the deal is years ago, we thought, hey, let's go in and put tires in and it'll be good to do. But it just turned out over time that wasn't a real good idea.
That's right. Yeah, you know, at the time, you do the best with what you have, the information that you have. And all the intentions were good then, you know, it's for fish attraction and for breaking the waves, you know, going into Stewarts Creek to make it, you know, a little bit better for the bank anglers especially, and, you know, help out with erosion a little bit. And those are all good things, but you know, as we've learned through time, you know, tires in the water aren't really the best thing. So, you know, we just went in that day, tried to get as many out as we can and help that area out. And boy, the high schoolers, they knocked it out.
They did.
It was
I
unbelievable.
mean, y'all pulled a lot of tires out of there. I mean, it just kept going and going. And I saw some clips where they were up by the dumpsters, and I mean, just the dumpsters
stacks
piled up.
Yeah.
But you didn't just remove this stuff, though. I mean, you guys added back in a lot of new habitat at the same time. And tell us a little bit about the stake beds now that we saw y'all putting in. Those are wooden stakes, I would assume 4 foot long, 5 foot long. Is that about right?
That's right. Yeah, about 5 feet long or so.
And you're just driving several hundred of those together. About how far apart are they? I mean, does all of that make a difference as far as what species of fish are going to use them, or kind of what are the specifics on that?
Yeah, it's a good question. So they're about 5 foot long, 1x1 pieces. Or actually, the ones we use that day are more like 1.5 by 1.5, which also helps them to last longer. The thicker they are, the longer they're going to last, just like a tree. And you know, the idea is to get them kind of tightly packed, just like, you know, you're looking at a tree underwater, and fish like to, especially crappie, like to use these stake beds, and they'll get in there in that interstitial space in between them, and you know, it gives them, I think the tightness of the stake beds being close together, it kind of gives them a feeling of protection, gives them a place to go out and ambush, you know, minnows and things, hopefully your jig when you're fishing.
Exactly.
And so yeah, we've through our electrofishing that we've done to evaluate those stake beds, we know they work. So that's why we keep doing them for sure.
Right. Is there a particular time of year when they would be more effective than another? I mean, I know coming into the spring with the crappie, it's a great time to be on those stake beds, but they're pretty productive, I guess, throughout the year.
They are. Yeah, you can find, especially brim, we're going to be on them all year round. Once the Corps brings it up to summer pool on Priest, you know, all species get in there. You've got all your bass species, brim, crappie, they're all going to get in there. But I guess I'd say the best time of year really for the crappie using those stake beds is really between, I'd say, maybe October through, you know, maybe the beginning of May.
Okay. Yeah, good information there. Now, Dayton, y'all were talking earlier about the different types of supplies you can make these out of. What are some of the better ways of making them, Philip? I mean, well, you don't want to go out there, of course, and use a rubber tire.
Right.
But there are ways you can go obtain permission, let's say, to put these stake beds out. That's why I'm asking this. But there's certain materials that are a lot better to use than others. And y'all use wood, but is there anything else you can use or that would be better?
Regarding stake beds, really the wooden stakes, that's the go-to material. That's the only thing we'll do there. On other types of attractors, I don't know if you want to get into that now, but we do use the corrugated black pipe. Yeah. And we'll concrete those into these concrete cinder blocks. And we know they're going to last long, and they're not going to be as damaging to the environment. The good there definitely is worth putting that material into the water, even though it's not natural like a wood material. Right. It does.
That's one thing about wood, you know, it's just going to go away and become part of the lake eventually.
These last a long time. They're cheaper to make, too, than some of these other synthetic materials that are available. And we find that through studies that we've done in projects, they also work. So
Yeah, right.
They work really well.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, we're going to go over right now and do this week's Product of the Week. This week's Product of the Week is being sponsored by Caney Fork Outdoors. Y'all can find them at cfoutdoors.com or get off of I-40 at the Center Hill Dam exit there. Go to the bottom of the hill, and you will find them on the right there at the Big Rock Market. Let them take care of all your kayaking needs, and they can fill you up with some good barbecue and cheeseburgers while you're there, too, guys. It is a good stop to make on your way to the Caney Fork River. So get in there and find them. Guys, we got a really cool product tonight, Dave. Now, this is something, we very first started talking about this at the Fishing Expo.
Yes.
Okay, and we're working in conjunction with our buddy Wally Kilpatrick over at Yankum Custom Tackle on this, and this is our new Creek kit. Now, this is a complete kit that will come together just like this when you order it. I'll show you some of the things in here, but these are 3/16 ounce jigs. Now, what we're doing, we were finding if we were using a jig too heavy for those smallmouth in the creeks, we were hanging it up. If we're using a jig too light, we were drifting over top of them. So we tried different sizes. 3/16 was the size that we came to. It's going to come with 6 of these in different colors, and they're weedless. You've also got, you're going to have trailers with it. You chunk trailers.
3 different scents.
3 different scents.
And believe me, this works. I promise you that. I don't care what you put it on.
It does. You've had to share a little bit of that in the boat ramp here lately, hadn't you?
Bo and them had to have some.
And then one other thing that's going to be in this pack are going to be these rattles. These are trailer rattles. And this is a brand new product that they have got going this year. That they're just now getting started, and there's going to be 3 of these in every one of these packs. But you guys can get these by going through Bobby Gentry's Dale Hollow Bait and More. Y'all go to bobbygentry.com, and you'll be able to order this pack here and get a Creek kit in. And we're really hoping that you guys enjoy these, because it is a perfect creek wading smallmouth type kit, and it's been working really well for us. So I hope y'all enjoy that. Guys, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back here in just a minute. We're going to open our phone lines. We'll have some more Southern Woods and Waters. This segment's being sponsored by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife.
One important tool that I always have with me in my turkey vest is a good pair of hand clippers. I'll use these to trim limbs off to help hide me, or even to trim limbs to make my path clear of where I think my shot's going to be. A good pair of hand clippers is an important tool to have with you in your turkey vest. You know, in life, we put a lot of things in our path on our view to God. And these are things that we put in the way ourselves. We're working hard, worrying about making a living, providing for our family. We worry about how our job's going to be. We put our hobbies in our path in front of God. Jesus tells us in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all these things will be added to you." Basically what he's saying is keep the path to God clear in your life. Make sure that there's nothing in the way, and all these things that we worry about, he'll provide for them if we keep our path clear. So my challenge for you this week is this: put a good pair of hand clippers in your turkey vest, because I promise you, you'll need them. Also, let's look at our path to God. There may be some limbs that we need to trim. Thanks for watching this week. We pray that you are blessed today. And always remember, keep shooting straight.
All right, guys, this next segment's been sponsored by our friends over at Taylor's Archery. Y'all can find them at 100 East Lauderdale Street in Tullahoma, Tennessee, or give owner Tracy Taylor a call at 931-563-7706 and let them take care of all your archery needs. Spend some time in their indoor range there. Tracy and his team can get you outfitted and out the door with everything you need. All right, welcome back to the studio. You guys can call in now if you'd like, 615-737-7767. And until then, we were talking to you guys about the stake beds and some things with that a while ago. But let's talk just a minute now about a spawning box. Sure. Describe to me what that is, and where do y'all locate those in the lake? You know, what particular areas, and what are you looking for to put in a spawning box?
Sure. A spawning box is basically just a, you can build it at anything, but, you know, when we do them, we typically use just regular wood boards, and it's kind of like a raised garden bed almost, except instead of filling it with more dirt, you fill it with pea gravel. And you know, a lot of our popular game fish species like bass, crappie, all your brim species, they're all spawning on pea gravel. You know, they're trying to fan out the silt out of the way, and so this is just a way to give them more areas to spawn, hopefully improve the population, because the fish can always stock the lake better than we can, no matter what. So, you know, if we provide them the right kind of habitat, you know, they're going to do the rest.
Is there a particular depth or particular area, you know, up and down the lake that you would put these boxers, just anywhere in the back of coves, or how does that work?
Sure, they can go anywhere in the backs of coves. You know, with the Stewarts Creek project, we put some of those out there in some of the muddier areas in front of the fishing piers to hopefully attract fish for anglers to catch, and you know, provide the spawning area. But they can go anywhere, all over the lake, sand flats, backs of coves.
Well, we got a few callers here. Who do we have on the line? Ronnie, how are you doing tonight? Ronnie, can you hear us? Ronnie?
Oh, doing great, enjoying the show. Yes, sir, you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I know some old tars been in there for years, you know. I got to thinking those things is made out of oil and water don't mix, you know.
That's right. I think that's what they started figuring out after a while.
That's right.
Yeah, and what I'm just wondering about the bollards, I know at Stones River we've got a landfill dump right beside the river, and I don't know, I ain't figured out what that good idea was, but how safe is the water? What kind of condition is it in? Since are you noticing that there's the water's polluted, you know, over polluted, or does it seem to be, you know, what is right to, you know, to have?
Right.
Sure. Good question, Rodney. So you're talking about the East Fork that goes all the way up into the Murfreesboro landfill, I think. We do have, I think, a fish consumption advisory on part of the East Fork, and I can't remember off the top of my head how far that goes down towards Percy Priest, but you know, as far as I would certainly follow the fish consumption advisory, but I think that risk of pollution certainly lessens as you go down and you get into more water, and that you know, anything that's coming into the lake, you know, has a chance to settle out and not be as much of an effect to the fish.
Right, not as concentrated there.
That's right, not as concentrated.
All right. Well, we thank you for calling. Have a good night, Ronnie. That's a great question.
Sure, absolutely.
I thought I had one on two. Okay. We had one on two and lost. Had a little bit of issues there tonight, but no, I mean, that's a great question. You want to make sure that, you know, whatever you're consuming is safe. But, you know, all in all, our waters are in pretty good shape. You know, you mentioned you work with Old Hickory, Cheatham, and Percy Priest. What do you cover the same lakes, basically, Philip, or you have kind of different areas, same areas?
Yeah, same areas.
Okay. Well, I mean, with those three, I mean, you have such a diverse, you know, difference in habitats there. But each of those areas I would consider most any fish to be.
Well, you know, like milfoil, you know, how does that affect the lake that much? I mean, like, I know it cleans the water some, but what goes on with milfoil? How are we looking on that?
It's another good question. You know, we actually don't do a whole lot with vegetation, to be honest.
Right.
A lot of people think that we spray and kill vegetation. We don't even have the equipment to do that. If anything, we would be wanting to promote the vegetation because of how good it is for the water quality, for the fishing, et cetera, and other species like ducks and everything else.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, as far as that goes, you know, we're supporters of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, anything that will produce more habitat for the fish to be able to spawn in particular.
If you ever took your trolling motor and hit a patch of milfoil, it just gets muddy. So because it filters the water and cleans the water and gets, you know, fish place to hide too.
That's
so
right.
It does.
Good nursery ground. For sure.
It does. Now, we talked about, of course, the spawn and how important that is, but you know, we're coming up on that magic time of year right now when all this stuff's starting to happen, and we talk all the time about water temperatures and times of year, length of day, things like that. But what kind of kicks off this spawn, so to speak? What water temperatures are we looking for, and how long can we kind of expect that to last?
Sure. For our lakes that we cover, so you've got Priest, Old Hickory, and Cheatham. For the main game fish species, that 58, 60 degree water temperature is really when things start picking up. You can have the water temperature, on a warm 70 degree day like we had today. If it's full sun, it can take it from 58, to those low 60s and get those fish to turn on. As far as how long that lasts, it'll last for your bass and crappie. Crappie are going to finish spawning before the bass. Just by a week or two. It's all roughly the same. Yeah. A little bit of overlap there, but it'll last up into the 70s. Which will go, into early May, some years, when it's even a little cooler. So, and then after that, you've got your catfish coming on when it's in the 70s and 80s, and then brimmer all throughout the
There's always something, right behind something else, to get out there and get after. Got another call here. Dennis, how are you doing tonight?
Doing fine. How you doing?
Doing great. We appreciate you calling. How can we help you tonight?
Well, I was wanting to ask if they're having any luck about the Asian carp and the crappie down on Kentucky Lake.
Okay. Would you guys know, anything to kind of speak on that?
That Kentucky Lake is not one of our areas that we cover. I know that as an agency, we're doing a lot and doing all that we can for, to help out with the Asian carp issue. I don't know exactly off the top of my head, since it's Kentucky Lake, not one that I cover, how it's affecting the crappie over there exactly right now. But I do know that we're doing research studies with Tennessee Tech. We're incentivizing our commercial anglers to harvest those fish.
I started to say that these commercial guys have really stepped up and played a big role in this. And
we've got them in Old Hickory.
Very, very few.
Very few.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, we did find some this past summer. We found 2 that we electrofished, and we were actually targeting them for that. But before that, the only record was back in 2008. So it's a needle in a haystack for us.
Yeah. That's the way we want it to start.
That's exactly right.
The needle in a haystack is good. That's good.
Absolutely.
We're getting some feedback. Yeah, thank you for calling tonight, Dennis. Well, guys, let's go on and get ready to do tonight's tip of the week. Tonight's tip of the week is being sponsored by Phoenix Custom Quality Rods. Y'all can find their full lineup at phoenixrods.com. Or here in the state of Tennessee, call Mr. Jim Brewer at 931-213-1455. All right, I got a tip for tonight is one that I hope that if you've been fishing the last week or two, you've thought about this. But guys, with being the 1st of March, we just came out the end of February. That means that your hunting and fishing license from this past season expired for everybody. Yes. So make sure that you get that renewed before you get back out on the water. You're getting ready for turkey season coming up. But one thing I want to add to the tip tonight, something I just did this year, and a buddy of mine's done it a couple of years, but I went ahead and signed up for auto renew now.
I did too.
So next year, when it comes time, it's just going to be renewed for me, and I'm not going to have to sweat it.
And you can also get a hard copy for $5.
You can, and that's what I do because it's so easy to just slap my wall.
You can't lose it, and it don't tear up as easy and stuff.
That's right.
So the hard copy is good.
That's right. Well, make sure you guys get re-upped and that you're ready to get back out on the water and do that auto renew, and next year you won't have to sweat it when it comes 1st of March. We're going to get ready to take another quick break, and we'll be back here in just a minute with some more Southern Woods and Waters.
This is gonna be the good life. Gonna be the G3 life. This could really be the good life. The G3 life.
Live the G3 life. Visit Nashville Marine, your local G3 and Yamaha outboard dealer.
It's here, and it is big. A whitetail challenge for all hunters to test their hunter skills. Set your sights to reward your passion. Your next harvest could pay you big bucks. Enter today or reserve now at apexcompetitions.com.
CVA's AccuraSeries. Bagara barrels for guaranteed accuracy. nitride for guaranteed rust proofing, and a rifle guaranteed to be the best muzzleloader you've ever shot. CVA, it's just a better gun.
This segment's being sponsored by Tri-Green Equipment. Stop in and see them at 21 locations in Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee. They can take care of all your Honda, Steel, and John Deere needs. All right, this next segment's being sponsored by Courtney's Restaurant and Catering. You guys can find them at 4066B North Mount Juliet Road in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, or give them a call at 615-754-7548. Let them take care of all your delivery and catering needs. All right, welcome back to the studio. Guys, we got so much information going around tonight. We're going to go ahead and leave the phone lines open if y'all have any more questions. 615-737-7767. And while we're doing that, while we're waiting on a call or two to come in, I want to hit on, we're trying to cover so many different bases tonight, and I appreciate it, guys. Y'all jumping all over the world with us here. But let's talk a little bit about the stocking programs if we can. We get lots of questions about when do you guys stock fish? What species do you stock? All the way down, do you know what size fish are we stocking? So can you tell me a little bit about that, Philip?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We stock on our 3 water bodies. We stock a number of species throughout the year. On Priest, we stock a lot of hybrids. Old Hickory, we do a lot of stripers. And then we also do some sauger and walleye work as well, I believe. So throughout the year, our hatcheries stay busy, and there's crappie stuff going on. So
are y'all? Is there a particular time of year when you're doing most of the releases, or do they happen throughout all the year, or how does that work?
I'd say for our warm water species, we do a lot of those releases starting with about the summer, right?
Right. Okay.
There's summer and into the fall a little bit, and then they kind of slow down in the winter, and that's when most of the trout stockings occur. So.
Yeah, right. I've heard off and on. Is there a walleye hatchery up in Hartsville? Were they going to do one or something up there?
I've heard about.
Right.
Yeah, all of our hatcheries, they all do different species, several different species at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always starting with our sauger and walleye this time of year. That's kind of the first crop. That's what we call it.
Now, how big, talking the size, let's say you're putting walleye in the water right now, or sauger. How big of a fish are y'all putting in the water?
Walleye sauger is going to be your, what we call phase 1, which is more like a 1 to 2 inch fish. We try to get them as big as we can. The bigger they are, the better they survive. So, that's that 1 to 2 inch for sauger walleye. You get into hybrids, they can be anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. We really kind of prefer that 3 to 4 inch fish. But it's so much dependent on Mother Nature. How early can you get a bloom in the ponds, how many fish, what's the density of them?
Yeah, there's a lot. That's a whole other show. Getting into the stocking and the hatcheries. Who do I have on one here, Trevor? All right, we've got a couple calls here. JoJo, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for taking the call. I'm a country boy. When I come up here down there in Dixon, I ain't never seen so much water as I have out there in Old Hickory Lake and Pressure Freeze. Now, if you had your dressers, both of them got trash, and people died in them. Which would you rather? Which one do you have to fish in? And I like to fish from the bank. I used to carry a lot of church kids over every park in different areas, but it's real dangerous when you're taking them kids. But I try to watch them and pick up a pole for them. But then, some of them done got wrong and never got that I carried them fishing because the parents didn't have time and didn't want to deal with them.
Right.
Just answer me that.
Sure.
And I said, don't. I just go on back down the country and fishing that old Farmer's Lake down there.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
No.
We appreciate you calling. We'll try to get you some answers on that. We fish the banks a lot too. I'm not always out on the boat. As a matter of fact, the last couple of weeks I've fished the bank more than I have on the boat, and so have you.
Right.
There's a lot of different areas you can go to and take kids fishing. But one in particular that we've talked about tonight, to be honest, is Stewarts Creek on Percy Priest Lake. You can't really get a much nicer setup than that to be able to go and you've got that walking trail. I mean, you can work your way all the way around the banks and fish all the way from out deep on that point all the way back into the creek.
Yeah, but you still got Long Branch at Old Hickory.
That's a good one.
Shoots Branch. They got a fishing dock at Shoots Branch. I mean, you got down at the dam at Rockland. You can fish all along there.
Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunities, and you did ask also if we had a preference. I personally don't. I mean, I fish Old Hickory and Priest both, and I eat fish off of Old Hickory and Priest both, and have no problem with that at all. So I don't really think I would have a preference there.
No,
So
I really wouldn't either.
Got another caller here. This was a guy wanting to learn how to catch smallmouth bass. His name's Bobby Gentry. Yeah.
Okay.
But Bobby Gentry, how you doing tonight?
Well, you know, Brandon, hey, you got a great show. You got a great show as always, brother. I had to call in and say, hey, what's up?
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Looks like you guys have been catching some pretty good fish.
We have. I've not had no real big numbers. I mean, you can get a few numbers up, 7, 8, 10 fish, pretty easy on a good day. But occasionally you'll get that old 21. That one you had the picture tonight. It was 21 1/4. It was a sweet one.
That was a nice fish. Now, was you using crickets and minnows combo? That's what Dayton said.
Rubber crickets.
Since you posted that picture, I've had a few of my so-called good friends said, I know you was using crickets.
That's right.
Well, we know that's your go-to bait, Bobby.
I know. I can't get by with nothing, Brandon. They've always been getting better. We had a lot of high water and some mud water come in the rivers, what have you. And it's starting to clear up and look good. It's getting a lot better. And crappie's starting to bite just a little bit, too. I just want to throw that out there. I got a few buddies that's catching a few crappie and back from the creeks over some of that grass is just about a foot and a half, 2 foot high back in some of the creeks, and then crappie's been sitting right on top of that stuff.
That's just right.
Has anybody been catching any muskie, Bobby, that you've seen?
Well, I haven't talked to anyone on the muskie. I've got a couple guys that go down to Hendricks Creek, and that's all they fish for is muskie, and they usually stay from January to about March, then they go back home. Of course, they're winter guys. They like to troll for the muskie. But now you will catch a muskie. If Brandon Dowdy's in the boat, you will catch a walleye and muskie as long as he's got a spinnerbait on.
As long as you throw a pink bubblegum spinnerbait, that's my special walleye bait. That's my go-to.
That's right. That's right. And I want to tell you, too, Brandon, while you're on air, though, anybody's interested in any information on our creek kit and anything out there and on me, they can text my phone number also. Just let us know, because that's a great kit you've got there. And,
it is.
I've had a lot of locals here asking about it, so we're anxious to get that.
It's going to be a productive kit. It is. Go ahead and give them your number, Bob, before we let you go.
Okay. It's 270-427-0419.
All right. You guys get in touch with Bobby, and I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to getting mine back on the water this coming week when it warms up. I think it's getting just about right.
I need some fish scoop.
I'll tell you what, I have got my month of April and May just about full, but you better tell me how many days you want me to save you guys. I've got a couple, 3 openings there.
Well, we need about 25 or 30 days. Need a month.
We'll get you set up, Bobby. We'll be talking to you here shortly about that. We appreciate you calling, buddy. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Y'all have a great evening.
Have a good night. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, guys, we're going to get ready to take another quick break. We'll be back here in just a minute with some more Southern Woods and Waters.
This is gonna be the good life. Gonna be the G3 life. This can really be the good life. The G3 life.
Live the G3 life. Visit Nashville Marine, your local G3 and Yamaha outboard dealer.
It's here, and it is big. A white-tailed challenge for all hunters to test their hunter skills. Set your sights to reward your passion. Your next harvest could pay you big bucks. Enter today or reserve now at apexcompetitions.com.
This is gonna be the good life. Gonna be the G3
Live the G3 life. Visit Nashville Marine, your local G3 and Yamaha outboard dealer.
This segment's being sponsored by Stewarts Creek Outdoors, a unique, affordable way to display your trophies. All right, everybody, this week's calendar of events is being sponsored by our friends down at Burdine Supply. You guys can find them in Mount Juliet, Tennessee at 6966 Lebanon Road. That's about a quarter mile west of Highway 109. Or you can give owner Vincent Lenning a call, 615-453-9222, and let him and his crew take care of all your residential and commercial plumbing needs. All right, welcome back to the studio. Got a couple of things to announce tonight. One of the first things I want to do is just say hello to a viewer tonight. I want to say a special shout out to Mr. Bill Cooper. We appreciate you watching tonight. I was told that Bill watches our show sometimes a couple times a week, and that means the world to us.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate every one of our viewers, so thank you to Mr. Bill. Guys, on our calendar, the 27th of this month is a big day for getting the kids out. It's going to be our juvenile hunt for turkey season, so that's coming up in just a couple of weeks. Y'all don't want to miss that. Also, the Anchored by Grace Fishing League that we've been telling y'all about,
Right.
They've got another tournament coming up. You guys can contact Derek O'Quinn to get involved with that. You can contact him at 615-384-3393, and they had their very first tournament last week and had over 50 boats.
Yeah.
And took 18 and a half pounds
I
to
think
win
Mark
it.
Sondren won it.
Okay, well, I tell you what, to have that many on day one and that
a
kind of
good
a
one.
sack to win it, that's a good start. So good job to those guys over there. The following weekend after juvenile, by the way, on April the 3rd, that is going to open our statewide turkey season. Looking forward to that one. It's going to be a good time. We
Birds
do
are
a
out.
lot of that. Birds are starting to get out and do their thing. They were a little slow this year getting started, it seemed to me, but they're starting to do their thing now, guys. So a lot of those birds around the lakes out there too. They're both of them are grinning. They know where the turkeys are.
Kayaking around.
They know exactly where they are. Guys, I just want to thank y'all again, both for being here tonight. We appreciate all the information. You guys you really shared a lot of information with us tonight. I think we could have sat here for another hour and talked. So going to have y'all back down again some night to talk some more about this. But we really appreciate that. We appreciate the entire agency, everything that y'all do. We stand behind you and just appreciate everything you're doing for us. So everybody, y'all get out there and get on that water this week. Be sure to wear your life jacket each and every time. Get home safe to your family. We're going to be here next week. I'm going to have a great show for y'all. It's going to be hunting squirrels with little feist dogs. So you'll be looking forward to that one. We'll see you again next week right here with some more Southern Woods and Waters.
Get the net.